To take a few minutes, I asked one of our members, I just love this young woman. I love her because she's sincere and she is so humble. But she carries a lot of weight. She carries a lot of weight in the land, and she carries a lot of weight in the spirit. And I've asked her to come and share. We've heard about more outbreaks, and we've received notices from San Joaquin County. I do not want you to operate in fear, but I want you to operate in wisdom. Fear is not your portion. For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but what? Power, and what? Love, and what? A sound mind. And that's your portion, not fear. With this, we want you to operate in wisdom. As you come in here, we're masked and we have HEPA filters that are going. As you come in here, we have hand sanitizer. We're doing temperature checks. As you come in here, we want to make sure that you have the safest environment, that you're social distancing. When you come in here, we want to do our best because as our members, we're concerned about you. We have the heart of God over you and after you. And I want this young woman to come. She's a scientist. She's actually a licensed clinical scientist and has been, I believe, for about 34 years. She's the technical director of a lab that does all of the COVID-19 testing for Kaiser Hospital, and she's the Northern Division. Yeah, she's our member. Y'all walk by her and she just is smiling and humble and welcome you in. Not only that, there was a new clinic open in Berkeley last year. And she designed the laboratory, not clinic, but laboratory. She actually designed the COVID-19 laboratory in Berkeley. And she runs that division. And so I wanted to say this, not to brag on her, but so that you accept and understand the credibility of what she has to say. Does that make sense? I want you to receive LaRonda Frazier. She is a humble servant. I don't know too many people as humble as she is. But I want you, can you just stand and receive LaRonda? Receive her with love. It's not easy. She doesn't come before people. And it's not that easy for her. But I thank God for her today, because it's she and some of our other doctors that I've been listening to get advice from, to get an understanding from. Because you can't hear everything on CNN and all these other channels. I need to go to the source. How many of you understand that? So let's receive LaRonda Frazier. Pastor Haynes is going to wipe down and then we'll receive her.
Hi. Testing. Family, thank you. I thank our apostle for this opportunity to speak, but as she stated, I don't usually speak in front of people. I'm usually in the background in the laboratory working away on your behalf, but I'm being obedient today and try to share a little bit about what's happening in our world today. I'd like to start off with Proverbs 4:7. Wisdom is the principal thing. Therefore, get wisdom, and in all you're getting, get understanding. So I'm just going to spend just a few minutes talking about this pandemic, and until our breakthrough comes, what we need to do to protect ourselves and our loved ones. I personally believe that when you know better, you do better. So I just want us to be alert and just get as much knowledge as possible so that you can use wisdom. So as you all know, we're in the midst of this pandemic, and positive cases are skyrocketing since June 15th. And I use June 15th as the date where we were freed. I call it freed or released to start socializing again in restaurants and parks and movie theaters and very large vineyards. And we also had the opportunity and decision or choice to take our mask off. But since June 15, unfortunately, we've reverted back to old habits. We're not protecting ourselves by washing our hands and sanitizing, and we're not saying not to socialize with unvaccinated or vaccinating people, but we're not even asking. We're just kind of free. So since June 15th, I'd just like to share in June 15th the reason why they released us, so to speak, back into normality. We were at a 1.5% positive reactive rate. Now, as of yesterday in my laboratory, we were up to 10% again. That's almost the red scale again to do complete shutdown. So it was just really strange. I didn't know what to say to you guys because there's so much information on COVID, tons of information, tons of statistics. But I was talking to my sister the other day, and she basically was asking me, she was basically making a statement saying, you know, COVID-19, we had it under control, and now this darn Delta variant is coming and killing us again. So I took the moment to really explain to her the different terminologies, COVID-19 versus the Delta variant versus coronavirus, because I think we're all interchanging those words and not really understanding what they are. So I just want to share a little bit today with my church family so we can all learn and grow together, so we can understand what's really happening in our world today. So stay with me for a little bit, just for a minute, and I'm going to try to explain all these viruses so that you can understand them. I like examples and little stories, so hopefully you can grasp it better. So the coronavirus itself is a large family of viruses. It's like a title. It's a large family of viruses that really attack your upper respiratory system. I like for you to look at it as like an umbrella, and under this coronavirus is lots of other viruses that belong to the coronavirus, okay? Now, COVID-19 is the name of the infection or the illness that's caused by the coronavirus family, a member of the coronavirus family. It's really it belongs to SARS-CoV-2, okay? That's his family, okay? But it's the infection, right? So us as scientists, we like to name everything. So we named it COVID 2019 because that's when that virus infection was discovered. But for short, like all of us, we have nicknames. We call it COVID-19. Okay, so is that clear? So the main reason we like to name things is so that we can identify treatment and also watch the spread of it. So viruses, we know, constantly change through mutations. All viruses mutate. Variants of a virus are expected to occur. That's why we study and follow these viruses daily. We watch their mutations really to learn how they might spread or how sick people may be due to the various variants. Some variants, they come and then they disappear. Some stay and act up, is what I like to say. Some are weak and some are very aggressive. So this Delta virus is just a mutant. It's a mutation or an offspring. So it is part of the virus. So to help you understand a little clearer, this is the scenario I used for my sister because she still wasn't really clicking with me. How many of you all have kids, multiple kids, more than one child, or you can be a parent or a godparent? Raise your hand for me if you have multiple children that you have from the same mother and father. Okay? So they all have the same genetic makeup, right? But each child is different, am I right? Very, very different. Some of them look different unless they're biological twins, right? Some are calm, and that very next trial won't keep still. You're like, what is going on? It's the same, I'm the same mother, I'm teaching them the same thing, but they're just not behaving. Some are timid, and then some are very outspoken, right? And they're all from the same mom and dad. That's what's going on that's an example of the Delta variant. So during this pandemic, we've already discovered multiple variants. There's many, many, many variants. I can name a few: Alpha, Gamma, Delta, Zeta. I don't know who comes up with the names, but there's hundreds of names of the different variants. But the one you're most familiar with is the Delta, because that's the one that's acting up. That's the one that's outspoken, right? It's the child that is unruly, don't follow the rules. It's not following the rules of the coronavirus. It's doing its own thing. So the Delta virus, again, is a mutation of the same virus that's causing COVID-19. It's not a different virus, okay? So until our breakthrough comes, right, we learned that today. How do we protect ourselves? What do we do? Number one, this is a personal opinion. I strongly recommend vaccination. Until we get control of these, until we're all vaccinated, we open up a source for the virus to get into an uninfected person, and it continues to spread. So I strongly recommend vaccinations. I know a lot of people still have concerns about the vaccine, and I want to just assure you that it's really safe and it is effective. We have tons of data to support that. My niece, she was just I have a lot of family members still haven't been vaccinated because they just really feel like this messenger RNA vaccine was just rushed. We just came up with some magic and decided to vaccinate people, and everybody's a guinea pig for us to try to figure out what's going on. But that's not the case. Messenger RNA viruses, vaccines have been out for years, for decades. The problem is that the government, just like teachers, we don't give teachers enough money to teach. The government doesn't give the scientific world enough money to mass produce these vaccines. But because of this virus and this pandemic, tons of money was pushed over for us to actually produce these vaccines that we know that work. What is messenger RNA vaccines? It's basically, it delivers a message to your cells. Okay? It teaches our body to trigger a response to fight. Okay? So when your body sees this message, this infection coming, your body already know if you had the vaccine that, hey, I learned that's a virus, that's an infection that's going to try to take over. So immediately your body goes into fight. And so your cells starts destroying the virus. Okay? There's rumors, there's all kind of myths that this messenger RNA will come into your body and you're radioactive and all kind of things are out there. It doesn't stay in your body. It gives a message, hey, when you see this virus, kill it. And then your body's already ready, waiting for it. And when it sees it, it goes into fight, flight, and kills. So it doesn't ever enter into your DNA, ever. That's where your genetic outlook is and all your factors. Everything's in your DNA. It never enters into that part of the virus, of your cells. It's just a messenger. It's just an alert to fight. That's all it is. Some people get sick and then they want the vaccine. Well, it's not a cure. It's not an antibiotic. Again, it's just a message to teach your body to develop antibodies to fight the vaccine, the COVID-19 infection. We have a lot of data supporting this vaccine, and we know that it's effective for preventing severe diseases caused by coronavirus and all of the variants so far, including the Delta variant. I'm part of a study in Northern California where all our health providers, whenever we get a positive COVID test, we send it to the California Department of Health, and we're doing sequencing. That's the only way we can know what variant you have. And so from these studies, we're learning a lot. We're learning that this is Northern California data for people who are out there listening. Approximately 89% of people having these serious health conditions and are now being hospitalized and having all these different complications, that's due to the Delta variant. They are not vaccinated. So when I send the sample over that's positive, at that time, I don't know whether you're vaccinated or not, but we are able to now gather data through the database to, separate and learn more and more about these viruses, these variants. So we know whether you're vaccinated or not vaccinated. We know your age group. We know your sex. We know your nationality. This is all helping us to understand this virus better every day. Unfortunately, right now, the unvaccinated age group of 20 to 45 are being hit bad, really, really bad. So my suggestion is not to gamble, because that's what we're doing if we're not getting vaccinated, because the virus is going to continue to mutate. If it's not the Delta, it's going to create something else, another variant that we'll name, and hopefully it's not aggressive and it won't be in the news, but it will continue to mutate until we are able to squash it completely. So number one, get vaccinated. Number two, wash your hands. Don't just, we had a real good habit when it first started. We were washing with soap, and now we run our hand through the water. Some people just don't wash at all. They put on gloves instead. No, don't trust the gloves. Every time you touch something, just wash, because the glove is spreading stuff, right? So wash your hands at least 20 seconds. I tell people sing the ABC song that we learned when we were children. That's about 20 seconds. Or sing the happy birthday song. We want the old traditional one, not the upbeat new one. No, that one might not be 20 seconds. So wash your hands at least 20 seconds. And the third thing I encourage people to do is to wear masks. We have to cover our nose and our mouth. It's no good to wear a mask and it's sitting underneath the nose. We have a lot of people that, because we're out socializing again, there's a lot of vaccinated people mixed with the non-vaccinated people. So, we were all scared and in our bubble when it first started. But just be careful. I'm not telling you to, again, operate in fear. I'm not telling you to stay in a bubble. But I'm saying don't be embarrassed or shy when you're with people and you know they're not vaccinated. Put on your mask. Because if you don't, then you could take it back to your home or to children that are less than 12 years old who we do not have a vaccine for as of today. But we're working diligently trying to find vaccines that are effective in children. But in the meantime, just wear your mask. Another thing we can do is to keep our immune system healthy. If our immune system's not healthy, even if I have the message in me to fight, my immune system's too weak to fight. I might know how, but I'm too weak to fight. So how can we keep our immune system healthy? Rest. A lot of people don't rest, myself included. I'm guilty. But we need to get a minimum of 8 hours of sleep at night, because at nighttime is when our cells replicate. You're going to be replicating good cells, healthy cells, or bad cells. It's still going to be replicating. So give your body a chance to rejuvenate at night. So got to rest. Another thing we could do is eat healthy. This boosts our immune system. Drink plenty of water, vegetables, fruit, minerals. Just, take supplements, because you can't even get your daily requirement with just eating one salad. You got to exercise. Find time, even if it's just walking up and down in your house. There's no excuses. Gyms are back open, but, when they were closed, it still wasn't an excuse. Walk back and forth in your house. Walk from one end to the other. Just keep walking. I have stairs in my house. I go up and down the steps. Exercise, no excuse. At least 20 to 30 minutes a day. And then watch your stress level. This is what I need you to pray for me. Watch your stress levels. Meditate and pray. That's the best thing to watch the stress level. Find a hobby, something that makes you happy. Because if you're happy, your body is functioning the way it's supposed to function. And then Apostle talked about the sheet outside. I know some people got a little frustrated because we stop you and you have to sign your name. But we really need that documentation. It protects our sanctuary, our church, our leadership. You really need to sign your name and time you came in and print legibly and write your phone number, because just in case there is an outbreak, we know exactly who was in our church on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And then it's just documentation for us. Our apostle loves each and every one of us. She cares for us, every person that walks through that door. So that's why we just really, really need to adhere to, please sign the documents that we request with a happy spirit. And then, that's it. Don't forget the happy spirit. And please, 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 finally, I'm begging you to read reliable, scientifically based information. Facebook is not reliable, not even your relatives. So credible and reliable resources, you can go to the cdc.gov, G-O-V, or you can go to who.int. That's the World Health Organization International. Those two websites, the data's changed daily. We keep it updated. So any information, questions you have, somebody asks you a question that doesn't sound quite right with you, you can put it in the chat and the scientists will answer for you. And we never state stuff. It's not, we have to have documentation to back us up, because we believe documentation is better than conversation every day. All right, and finally, remember, like our apostle reminded us, 2 Timothy 1:7, for God has not given us a spirit of fear, but power, love, and a sound mind. Be blessed.
Thank you so much, LaRonda. Listen, we believe in being a whole ministry, and we believe in over the month of July, every Wednesday night, we did Wisdom Wednesdays. We did wisdom sessions so that we can be knowledgeable. The Word of God tells us in Psalm, I believe it's 1:12 and 20, it tells us that a man of God, a woman of God, those who serve are diligent in their affairs. And so we want you to know about all of your affairs. So go back and take a look at those. But I'm saying that to say I wanted her to bring this information because we need this wisdom. A lot of people are looking at unreliable sources, and this is a reliable source. So I thank God for each of you. Thank you for taking time to stay just a little bit longer. I believe Elder Eric's going to come and close us out. But before he does, I want